Hello, and welcome to Cryptids of the Lumberjack. Within the world of cryptids, there are many fearsome beasts that may or may not exist. Normally, these creatures are taken rather seriously, especially for the ones reporting a sighting. For this video, it is quite the opposite. These cryptids are looked at as more tongue-in-cheek, and most were started by guides who wanted fantastic stories to tell some of their more naive patrons. The Splinter Cat. This unique cryptid was first written about in 1910 and is said to be found in most of the forested regions of the United States. It was most notably found in the northern Cascade region in Oregon, near the aptly named Splinter Cat Creek. Descriptions of this creature are sparse, but what is known is that the cat has an extremely hard neck and head. It uses these adaptations to ram headfirst into a tree, cracking it open in search for bees or raccoons to feed on. Apparently, when impacted, the tree turns silvery gray and dies immediately. According to legend, this activity gives the cat a headache and leaves them in a foul mood. The creature has never been seen, but it has been inferred that this story was made to explain trees randomly broken in half, as well as ones that appear to have exploded, most likely by lightning. Snow Wasit. Here we have a cryptid that is found between northern Canada and the Great Lakes region, and is seen as a migratory animal. It resembles a weasel, but has the temper of a wolverine, and at full size can grow to 140 feet in length. The beast's fur can change color with the seasons, with white being in the winter, but in the summer the fur is green so it can hibernate in the cranberry marshes. It has small legs in the summer, but according to lore, they disappear in the winter. The snow wasset is most active in the winter, where it swims under the snow and attacks its unwary prey above. It normally eats grouse and rabbits, but when food is scarce, it will take a wolf or even a human being. This cryptid came from lumberjacks, using the story as a way to explain people who went missing during the winter, but were found later buried under snow. Slide Rock Boulder. I had previously covered this beast in a video, but here it is again. The boulder was recounted in tales dating back to the early 19th century, and is said to have lived in the Colorado mountains. The descriptions of these creatures are basically a huge whale that lives on mountaintops, and it uses its tail as a hook to hold it in place. It will wait for a passing creature or tourist party to walk by, then it will let go of the mountain and slide down with its mouth open. It would consume anything in its way and would use the momentum of its slide to go up an opposing mountain where it would latch hold again. The creature would use the drool from its mouth as a form of grease in order to slide faster down the mountain. According to legend, one park ranger grew tired of tourist parties coming up missing and devised a plan to kill one boulder. The ranger dressed up a dummy in plaid clothes and rigged it with explosives in the path of one of the creatures. His plan worked to destroy the beast, but in a bad twist, the town of Rico was decimated by the blast and was never rebuilt. Apparently, this story was created to explain the many strange rock slides on the mountain, as well as an attempt to find a reason as to why so many tourists were going missing. Funeral Mountain Terror Shot. This cryptid is the inspiration for this whole video. When I first saw this thing, I just knew I had to make a video about it and show it to all of you. The creature was first mentioned in the 19th century by Mormon immigrants who saw this creature leaving the latter named Funeral Mountains. It is said to be 6 to 8 feet long, have wobbly legs that made the beast sway, small ears, a tail like a hippopotamus, and most notably look like a walking coffin. These creatures were peaceful and mostly spent their days eating grass and breeding. Once the group grew large enough, they would all line up in a single row and follow each other into the desert. While in the hot sun, the terror shot would swell from the intense heat, and at one point would tip over and explode, shooting brimstone in the air and leaving a grave-sized hole in the ground. The rest of the group would follow the same pattern until none were left. Before making this trek, the group would leave behind their eggs in order to ensure the species lived on. The only explanation I found behind this creature is a way to explain the name of Funeral Mountains, but I'm sure the grave holes may have played a part somewhere. Central American Wind Tosser. The final cryptid on this video was said to live in the Isthmus region of California. Not much was known about its behaviors, but it was known to be a rather small animal, but it had a temper that was quite vicious. Apparently it lived in communities of its kind in the form of a pack. The description of this creature states that it had a triangular body and that its head and tail were almost on a swivel, to which it could spin both at about 100 times a minute. The most interesting part about it is the fact that it had 3 sets of legs. Due to frequent earthquakes in the area, it used those extra legs to walk upside down or sideways if needed during such a tremor. These beasts were said to cause many problems for people, and due to this, attempts were made to kill them. Nothing customary could be used to end the life of one, such as shooting or clubbing, but there was one way you could do it. According to legend, if someone was to trap it in a pipe, it would get confused and try to walk in all directions, which resulted in it tearing itself apart. Again, I have no clues why this tale was created, but if you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Before I end this, I wanted to tell you that a great site about these 5, as well as many others, can be found at lumberwoods.com. I will leave a link in the description so you can check it out. I do want to say that they didn't sponsor me at all, but I think it is a nice resource for those of you who are interested in more of these types of creatures. With that, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.